Alright, what's going on, guys? My name is Bryce, and if you've clicked on this video, you've either seen the TikTok or you've seen the title, and you're just confused with what's going on in the world and everything that's going on, and you just want clarity and you just want to understand. And so I'm here to help break down what is going on and try to settle this unnecessary anxiousness that's going on within your lives. I'm not editing this video, I'm just going one roll, one take, and we're just going to keep it rolling. Now, I hear all these people, just because of the Russian-Ukraine conflict, people think that we're in the end times. So I'm going to define what the end times are, kind of break it down. So the end times are the time period in which we wait for Jesus to return a second time. We've always been in the end times, my friend. We have always been in the end times once Jesus resurrected. So once Jesus resurrected, the apostles were in the end times. They're just waiting for Jesus to return a second time. But, you know, churches and all this other stuff and people online and stuff will manipulate the phrase the end times to instill this fear and almost like religious trauma in people to get them just with this random emotion and fear and anxiety. It's just emotionally manipulating to some people, and I don't like that. We just must recognize the end times. We've always been in the end times. If you're living right now, we've always been in the end times. That's what you need to understand. Now, when it concerns when Jesus is coming back, there's no possible way for anyone to announce the day, hour, second in which Jesus will return. Matthew 24:36 says, "But concerning that day and hour, no one knows, not even the angels of heaven, nor the Son, but the Father only." God the Father is the only one that knows the day in which Jesus will return and the time in which Jesus will return. Now, 1 Thessalonians 5:2 also says, "For you yourselves are fully aware that the day of the Lord will come like a thief in the night." So while God the Father is the only being that knows when Jesus will return, it says in 1 Thessalonians 5:2 that Jesus will come like a thief in the night. A thief never announces and makes this grand gesture of a day and time in which he plans on stealing something. He just comes and goes. He comes in, goes out quick, right? That's what it's saying. Jesus is going to come back like a thief in the night. It's going to sneak up on us, right? So that's what that's saying. So don't let if there's a preacher or pastor or evangelist that is telling you what day and time that Jesus is coming back, don't listen to him. It's a bunch of baloney. Don't listen to him. There's no way for any human being on this earth to tell you what day, hour, and second that Jesus returns. And I'm telling you all this because people manipulate these things to try to instill fear into you. Like, don't be fearful of these things. As a believer, you should not be afraid of the end times, right? We shouldn't be fearful of them. Now, obviously things are going to happen. I'm not going to say it's going to be a weird time, but as a believer, we should be firm in knowing where our truth is and where our soul lies, right? Now, let's go to Matthew 24:3-14. This passage is very important because it is concerning when Jesus is on Mount Olive telling the disciples about signs of the end times. Now, this is more concerning the Russia and Ukraine situation. And I just want to get something out of the way real quick before I dive into this passage. The fact that wars have always occurred. For thousands of years, there have been wars across the world, all right? So a world conflict or a Russia-Ukraine war right now, it shouldn't fear us and inflict this fear into us thinking that there is, the end times and Jesus is coming back and blah, 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 blah. Now, we shouldn't disregard that the war is going on, but we shouldn't view it as this like end time battle of the lands just clashing at it, right? Wars are a natural thing that have occurred for 1,000 years. All right, so I don't want this unnecessary anxiousness to be instilled in your minds. Now, Matthew 7-8, it says, For nation will rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there will be famines and earthquakes in various places. All these are but the beginning of the birth pains. It's saying that Jesus is telling the disciples that in the end times there will be little spurts of birth pains and little instances of strife that will happen, but it's not the full effect of the end times. So, I mean, even if this is the end times, and even if this is when Jesus is coming back, these are just little birth pains. It's not the full effect of the end times. But that's why I want to move to Matthew 24:14. And this gospel of the kingdom will be proclaimed throughout the whole world as a testimony to all nations, and then the end will come. The gospel has to reach all the nations before Jesus comes back. So we shouldn't be worried. That hasn't happened yet. Now, we should make efforts in trying to spread the gospel to all nations because we want people to know about Jesus. We want people to know about the hope that we can find in him. So we want to try to make the advancement of the gospel reaching all the nations. That's why I thought it was such a beautiful thing at the Passion Conference when they were translating scripture into a new translation of the Bible that hasn't been translated yet. Beautiful thing. The gospel is still being translated. The gospel is still reaching the nations. Beautiful thing. So it's very clear in Matthew 24:14 that the gospel must reach all the nations before Jesus comes back. My friend, a whole lot of crap has to happen before Jesus comes back. So don't be fearful of the end times. If you're a believer and you know where your salvation lies, then the end times it shouldn't inflict this unnecessary fear or anxiousness inside of you. Rather, we should be in a good way concerned about other people's souls that don't know Jesus. So what is our response to this? Keep being you, keep pursuing God. Jeremiah 29:13 says, "You will seek me and find me when you seek me with your whole heart." Keep continually seeking Jesus with your whole heart. And when it comes to Ukraine and Russia, we must be praying both for the people in Ukraine, the nation of Ukraine. We must be praying for all political leaders across the world. We must be praying and continue prayer. Shouldn't be a spare tire in our life. It should be the wheel. It should be the battery of our joy and of our life. So my friend, keep praying for these nations. Keep praying for political leaders. Keep praying. Be in fervent prayer. Okay, my friends, this whole thing all these people confusing people and inflicting this unnecessary fear can go one of two ways. We can have people unnecessarily anxious and fearful of different events, or we can take it head on and figure out what the issue is and solve the issue by coming together and unifying. Now, I don't want to disregard the issues. These issues shouldn't be disregarded. War is a very real thing. We should be praying, like I said, for Ukraine and political leaders, and we shouldn't shy down from what it is. But we shouldn't overhype it into it to be something it's not. So I hope that video was informational. I love you guys. You guys are awesome. And yeah, I hope you guys have a great night. I hope this was informational. Feel free to check out my Instagram or anything else, or subscribe or anything. I'm going to be making more videos. I hated using the TikTok to kind of send people over here, but I had too little time on TikTok, so I want to make a longer video. But I love you guys. Stay safe and peace.